Welcome, guys, to the SBN Network podcast. I'm your host, Steph, and with me is...
I'm Scott.
Yes.
And I'm Scott. We know how to do intros now.
This is a podcast where we take some deep dives into some wonderful artists and kind of look at their account in a different way, which is always a little bit positive, a little awesome, and you guys can enjoy their accounts with us.
And now that we've gotten more professional, I try not to say any dumb stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I try to at least always end on a good note. There it goes. And Scott has to take his sip, and then we start.
Commence.
Yes. Well, it's Kelsi, right? It's spelled uniquely perfect. Welcome. Thank you so much for doing this. I know that we kind of just connected a few months ago on everything because I found your account through Sisters in Plastic, and I was looking for all these amazing women artists, and I realized that you have a love for designer toys just like myself and all the blind boxes. And you have your daughter, and just your account is so fun and colorful. So I'm super excited that you said yes to joining Scott and I on this.
And this is really cool because you're a kind of a unique one now, because we really haven't had a designer toy person who tends to focus on designer toys, have we? I'm thinking back, we haven't really done that. No. And the other thing too that's kind of interesting is you are relatively new to Steph and I. There have been occasions where it's gone either way, like somebody that maybe I followed for a while but Steph just got introduced to, or Steph had followed for years and I just got introduced to. But this is the first time you're kind of newer to both of us. I was so excited to find your stuff. So
oh, that's fun. I'm so glad you asked, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
So I had to ask, we're going to start this. What kind of started your toy journey? What started, Kelsi's idea to start an Instagram page and kind of look for toys and show it off? Where did it all come from?
Wow. Okay.
It's a big question.
It goes back a little ways. I think I've always been a collector at heart, but I haven't always collected toys. It's probably been, probably the last 6 years or so. I think it's just you don't want to be an adult so much anymore. You tried it and you didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I started collecting toys. Just, your basic go to Walmart, the kid wants something well, I'll get something too.
Yeah.
Just I think it started out with Disney Tsum Tsums or something, really.
I love those. I'm not gonna lie, I actually have a few of those.
They're so cute.
They're
right?
adorable.
So
absolutely.
They're very collectible.
Yes, they are.
So I ended up with probably way too many of them. And so that kind of started that whole thing. And then eventually, we still have Toys R Us in Canada. So that's super nice. So
that's it. I'm ending this broadcast and leaving. I'm so mad.
No, it's
it's great.
Unfortunate for you.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of things that you guys have, but we still have Toys R Us. So we would go, and they actually had Tokidoki there.
Cool.
So that was my first introduction to designer toys on a very
base level.
Base level, because it wasn't even the full figures. It was the tiny ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that started that, and then after a while, I would follow accounts that Tokidoki too on Instagram. So then I would see that there were adults that collected toys, that opened toys on Instagram and took pictures of them, and I was like, well, that's silly. At the same time, I want to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
So I started an account, and I even started with a name, and I was like, this is just a placeholder, this whole Niji Toys thing. I'll think of something better later or something different later. But stuck with that, and then Tokidoki started going into more obscure designer toys, and if I was going to spend money on toys, I wanted to spend it on things that were really unique and stuff. So it started out just taking photos on my phone, and then it graduated to like a good camera, and then it just kept going and going. So I think the account is like 2 years old, maybe a little more than that now. So.
Gotcha. So you were toys first and then photography. So you started with the idea of collecting. You got interested in the designer toys. You got interested in the specific toys. And then it evolved into like, okay, I should take some photos of these and turn this into something else. Like that's really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, like my whole family is photographers. Like my mom's been a photographer, you know, ever since I was born. Like she's done film, you know, like I remember as a kid, like her having her film in the freezer and stuff like that. Like, you know, she's amazing, and my sister's an amazing photographer, and brother-in-law, and they're just everywhere. So it like you think you're gonna avoid it, but then you just don't really. You kind of fall into the photography.
Yes, you do.
In our family. So
yes, you do.
Very cool. Well, for this show, we kind of make a little slideshow. So are you ready to see yours? Because I pulled the first photo from your feed, and then I also pulled the most recent. I know you posted one today, so I didn't grab that one, but I grabbed this thing.
You grabbed that's my first photo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is so fun, the evolution. I always like comparing it to just like some of the little details. Like we've had people that when we pull their recent and their first photo, it's like the same character or there's like a particular vibe that's there. And it is funny that these two have very similar vibes, but you can see your style has changed. It's evolved, and you've gotten a little bit more specific, and you can tell like you pose the figures differently. You have changed your backgrounds. You've changed your props and your scenery, and it's such a fascinating change. I love this. This is generally my favorite slide that Steph puts in, is seeing this like the first one to now, because
it's fantastic.
It's, you know, it doesn't matter how long ago it was with any photographer. We've had people who have been doing this for like 6 years. If you look at that first photo, you see the seed, you see where that style started, and it's so obvious, like the direction that you were going in. I love that. I love it.
It's so funny because now I would never lay a figure on its side like that. It's so funny. Like now I've developed rules that I follow, and it's not horrible, but it's just, that is really interesting that you did that. Wow, that's fun.
It's so neat. What was that first figure? Like what is that from?
That is Tokidoki, the Mermicorno series, and I like the Mermicornos best because of the undersea vibe.
I was going to ask you about the ocean.
If you would have picked a ocean themed thing, you would have had so much on my page. But this one's called Seashellus. I believe I'm saying that right. It's one of my favorite ones though. Is clear, and then the one on the right, or whatever it ends up being on your screen, is the seedless. It's called A Seedless by Shako Nakazawa. She's like my favorite designer toy artist. She does sofubi and like soft vinyl toys. Yeah. So that's like high end stuff for me as far as toy spending.
I love the choice of like how you decorated the scene, and I know I talk about it a little bit in the write-up, but obviously you can only go so in detail in like the comment section. But it is, you focus, it's all about the toy and the presentation of it, and it doesn't, your scenery is always just a complement to the toy. It's never overly like distracting. I know I have a tendency and on purpose, like I'll put stuff in like the foreground and stuff like that. You don't. It's you walk this like absolutely balanced, perfect line between like a product photo and a fine art photo. And you found like the top of that pyramid, and you just sit comfortably on it, and you just make it like revolve around you. It's interesting because not
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't no I don't think people
Stop
always do that.
analyzing me perfectly.
No, I don't think people always nail that, and
That's
I
so
think
nice.
you do, and I think that's what's really cool. Like right here, and I said it again in the comment, you have sold me on the toy and you've sold me on the photo. Like if they were both side by side for sale, I would buy both of them as opposed to just one or the other. Like I will be honest, I don't think my account does not sell toys. I don't think anybody would look at my account and say like, I want that. Like I think people like my photos, but you do both at the same time. Like this photo would be awesome framed somewhere, but then also I'm looking at it going like, I want that. That's cute. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think that's something you just nail. It's such a staple in your style. So there's my opinion on that.
Thank you so much. I love that so much. Yeah, I try and keep it simple and let the toy talk a little bit. I find that it is a battle a lot of the time, is trying not to make it too busy, because you do have like you probably have too, like a whole like boxes and boxes of toy props.
Yep.
I could use this or I could use that, and it's just then actually with that photo, the last photo I took, I had gold stuff on the floor, and it was cool, but it looked too busy, so I poured white sand all over it, and then I had to try and separate the two afterwards. But it just looked too busy, so I
cover it up.
Totally,
back to the drawing board. No, I know that feeling. It's important to do that though sometimes, because again, even people do that with like as you're talking about how you have family members who are photographers, but like wedding photographers and portrait photographers and stuff, that's a big thing. Like take out the stuff that you don't need. Like I don't care how cool looking that wall is or how cool looking that door is, if it does not like aid the beauty of the subject, get rid of it. It doesn't need to be there. And I think cluttered photography can get really like, it can be like a little overwhelming. And now granted, there are photographers who absolutely like balance that clutter by using like geometry and lines and stuff like that, which that's very cool too. But there's really something to be said about simplifying and remove the garbage. You don't need this garbage. Like there's too much. Like I don't know what's happening in this photo, but it's like you look at this, it's so clear to me. Like this is it. This is the photo. Everything makes sense. I understand what's going on. I understand its story. I understand its point. So there you go.
And it can be a matter of an angle or a turn or a move. Just a small move.
That's all it takes.
And it has the magic. All of a sudden it has the magic, and then you know which one. So.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And like look at like this toy in general, the fact that you thought about this toy. And again, I always say that you thought about this. Sometimes when I say you thought about this, I mean your subconscious thought about this. And maybe you did think about it consciously or subconsciously. Who knows? I'm not in your head. But the two eyes, the spacing of the eyes on this toy is pretty far apart. And it would have been really easy to just turn it a little too far where its eye disappeared, and then you would have looked like it only had one eye, but you didn't, because again, you see the benefit of being able to see its entire face. That's not always a problem with figures, because a lot of figures, their eyes are closer together above, so it would be like, it doesn't matter how far you tilt it. But this figure specifically, it's something to be aware of. You could have very easily lost that, and it would have, it still would have been a nice photo, but that funkiness would have appeared. So. There.
Oh my gosh, you're so right about this thing, and it's so funny. Like, a head-on shot, like, I mean, he's so cute, right? But like, there's this certain sweet spot that you get the tail and the side and the, all of it.
Exactly.
You could do a profile, but that's just, it doesn't show all the personality. Like, there's really only one sweet spot with this thing. So. Yeah. And
that's where you find that beautiful line between like just basic product photography and fine art photography. As a profile of this might look kind of cool, but it doesn't necessarily show off the figure. That would be more about the image. And if you had it straight on, that might just be about the figure. So it's like, how do you get in between the two and make it work? And you do.
Exactly. So. And the front legs are lower. Like I lowered the front legs so the tail would be higher and you could see more of the back end. Like it is so tiny. All these little things. You think like, oh, it's so easy to take a picture, but like you think about as a photographer.
It matters.
And it matters. It does. In the end, it does.
Can I ask you, when you went to go take this photo, did you think about the rocks and stuff before, or did you actually have those color palettes already with you somewhere in a box? Like, I'm trying to figure out like your process for everything.
I usually have to like either I was shopping and I found something, or I usually just have to go off what I have at home already. I accumulate things as I go, of course, but like this is all stuff I had at home. Like I was kind of hoping I had some darker blues as far as glass and like pebbles or something, but I didn't. But that seems to be okay in this instance. Yeah. I had the green glass shards and I had the blue and the clear, and then the white sand helped with the face. Oh, my poor white sand gets so much stuff in it.
Of course
I'm going to have to buy new stuff soon. And then the backdrop is just, like it's just, what do you call it? The paper people use to do photos in.
Like seamless, scrapbooking paper, yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
I have a ton of that stuff. So it's all stuff I had on hand.
That's awesome.
That one.
Cool.
That is
I could just see you walking through some store or some like even like the supermarket and be like, I'm gonna buy a bunch of these rocks because this is gonna be perfect later on. So that's cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've gone through the supermarket going, oh, I could use maybe these waffle ice cream cones or something. Like I'm always thinking about it. Always.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's why like flea markets and garage sales are really dangerous as a toy photographer.
Oh gosh, yeah.
This is adorable.
Oh yeah, see, that's just a Walmart toy. Something I got for my daughter. So.
Amazing. Is there like cotton in this? Like some sort of like
It is, funny enough, that cotton particularly is from like another toy that you buy from Walmart. It's like you put it in water and it disappears. Like it's like it's a cloudy is what it's called. And you take the stuffing out. If you don't put it in water, you can take the stuffing out and it's a really good consistency. Yeah. It's better than cotton batting, actually. It's finer. So I saved it and I kept it. And I've been using it for this sort of situation. So yeah, that's what that is.
Well, this
Long story.
This is a good one to dissect because this is again one of those things where we get to talk about things that make differences. The fact that you put that material behind the little dragon it is key. Like if it wasn't there, he's too dark, he would have vanished into the background. And again, I reiterate, it would have been fine, it would have been a good photo, but I think it makes it like an excellent photo by doing that. It takes it to the next level and gives you some separation, and I think that's really important. I love that. I love that you can even see it just above his nose. You can see a little bit of the material is still there so that it doesn't blend into the little shadow under that like rock kind of material there. This is awesome. That is such a cool
you make
shot.
Me laugh because like I totally forget like what I forget sometimes what I had done in a photo, but you just totally jogged my memory by even saying that. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I totally tried to take this photo without the stuff in behind and found out it was too dark and just added it. Yeah. I mean, it's just something you do on the fly. You don't always know right before, but you take a picture and you're like, oh, that didn't work. Let me just fix that. But that's so funny that you totally dissected what I did there and I forgot. No, but that's exactly what I did.
It's so important, and it's the intent is there. It's I love seeing the decisions that creative people make. It's fascinating because there are a million different ways you could have resolved that problem, but that was like such a great, perfect in the moment solution. And I just, that to me, that is the creative process. That is what, like, art is. Yeah, it's making a thing that's nice, but the process is more of it than we give like credit to. Like, I feel like the actual doing it is so much more than just the end result. You know, the choices we make, the figures we choose, the colors, the decorations, the whys, like, you know, what were you thinking at this moment? Why did you choose this figure? You know, it's all just interesting stuff. And it's, I think that's what's fun about like really, really digging into someone's photo. It's one thing to just scroll through and hit like or comment, you know, rad photo, bro. Like, that's fine. Like, I love getting a rad photo, bro, periodically, but
Yep.
really, really like spending time on an image is important. That's why I'm a nightmare to bring to museums. Don't bring me to museums. It's
Yeah, I could see that.
It's bad. It's ugly, and I still have not taken the 2-year-old yet because he's gonna lose his mind. He's just gonna be like, "I hate
Oh
this.
my gosh.
Please get me home." He's staring at the same thing for 40 minutes.
That's so overanalyzing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, this is quite fun. That is a piece of stone stuff that I had actually just made from clay and painted because
Oh, really?
I didn't have anything like quite like what I wanted. I wanted those straight edges and
Layers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's long garbage now because it got wet and all that kind of stuff. But
Of course.
it was good for a few shots.
Yeah.
I can even
And then
see
in the
like
background, it's just a towel, actually.
wow.
A black towel, and then I stuck some of that stuff on
I
it.
was gonna ask.
Brilliant.
And then put the moon there, like a cutout.
Brilliant.
Just a cutout. So it's
Absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
What
man.
types of this is more of like a gear question because people do wonder this kind of stuff. What kind of lights do you use?
This is just natural light.
This is all natural. Okay.
This
Do you just
one.
use like a window or like?
Yep, we've got really good natural light in my house. And especially at the start, I did not have any tech. Like it's very low because the money that goes to the toys.
Exactly.
You know,
Mhm.
so I gotta keep it kind of minimal
Yeah.
as far as that goes. But yeah, just natural light for this one. I do have a light box now, but I mean, for a long time, I just strictly natural light.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
so
then
it's a bit
like,
side lit from the side.
Yeah. Well, you used it well. You
Gorgeous.
definitely optimized what you had. So it's phenomenal.
Thank you.
This is my favorite one. I went down your feed and I stopped on it like 4 or 5 times just because it's just. I've seen these movies because my kids are 11 and 6, so they like love the little toothless dragon. So I just like I didn't even know there was figures in this size, and I was super excited to see it. So kind of like how Scott said, you make me want to buy more figures now. Going through your feed, trying to go through stuff. So I love just the nighttime look too, because you're using natural light to show a night image. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, sometimes you don't have a whole bunch of new toys on hand, and you just have your kids' toys, so you just have to do with what you got.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. Let me go into a little brighter.
Yes. Everyone loved this one, and it's so simple.
So good. Slinky.
It's so simple. It's a slinky, yes it is.
So good. It's so good. You got to understand, as for what I do, like, I mean, Steph knows this, like my favorite thing and most of my favorite photos that I've taken was a photo of me using something I just found or had. Most of the time when I've gone all out and like built something or come up with this great idea, I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm happy with it, but whatever. But like if I find like trash or something while I'm out somewhere, I will genuinely, like, I wouldn't encourage other people to do this because I don't want you to get like diseases and stuff, but like I will genuinely just like pick up like garbage that I see because I'm like, wow, look at that piece of metal, that looks fantastic, and like I'll just stick it into the ground by that's what I love about this image is you took a figure, you took a slinky, and you made art with it. the end. Like, this is a perfect, like, you don't have to overthink it. You staged everything perfectly. I mean, like, again, consciously, subconsciously, doesn't matter either way. I couldn't care less. It, like, you look at like the green yellow where it meets coming into the tip of the wing there. I mean, it's just so cool. It's framed so nicely. It's such a lovely, lovely, lovely shot. So there.
Oh, rainbow is always like a clickbaity thing. I always sometimes, you know, I get frustrated when I try so hard. And I do, like, I overdo, and I have backgrounds and stuff that I bought, and I overdo it, and it's so nice. And then I'm just like, you know what? I'll probably get 100 more likes on this picture because it's a rainbow slinky. You know, like, it's so simple, but people love just a nice, clean image. Like, they love a clean image and a rainbow. You know,
put like the two together, you got it.
Who doesn't like it? And I love it. I love it too. Like, it just.
I do notice that most people will put the slinky like in your face, and you have it like going around almost too. So it was like the angle that you chose to pull this around, it makes it look like a rainbow actually going up instead of just like a swirly vortex that you would get.
Yeah.
So I like that. Yeah.
And truly, like, the angle of your the angle of your camera too is like I said, you see where all those colors meet. They meet at such particular points on the figure that it's not distracting. You don't have like converging lines that like take you away from the image. It's everything falls into a nice clean space, and it's great. Such a cool
and
shot.
I took probably like 50 photos
of course
to get
you did.
that one. And it's so simple, such a simple shot, and yet still there's that one that's going to be magic and the rest are not.
Minimalism is complicated, and people don't realize it sometimes, and that goes with all art forms, whether it's I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's like graphic design. Minimalism is hard. Like, it is not to make it appealing. You got to think about it, because you're working with very little and trying to make something really special with not a ton. And and it's hard because it's difficult to get the wow factor. It's difficult to get the ooh factor. Like, when you just are dealing with, like, you are literally dealing with two things here. Two things, a toy and a toy, and you've made an image. Like, that's not like, oh yeah, it's simple, I'm just gonna take a few snapshots, done. Like, no, that's complicated. So amazing.
Well, thank you. See, that's one of my first actually doing this with like a camera, like a good camera. And I was outside, and it's my neighbor's house, and they have water standing by the bottom of their house. This is what I love about toy photography. Like, it could be the ugliest spot. Ugliest spot in the big scheme of things. But in the small scheme of things, you can find this beautiful little corner, Yep. And I love a reflection.
I was going to say.
So much.
It's funny you say that about, like, it could be the ugliest scene in the world. Like, it doesn't matter. When you're a toy photographer, being a good toy photographer, you can generally find something anywhere. I have my dad and a friend of mine, like, will go shooting sometimes together, and they'll always ask my opinion. Like, well, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Because they don't do toy photography. They do more just, like, traditional photography. And I'm like, guys, I've explained this to you. You can take me anywhere. It doesn't matter. Like, you could put me anywhere, and I will find something. Exactly. Like, in a space where you guys can only find one photo, I might be able to find like 40 photos. Like, you got to realize how micro I have to think. And it's like, I've said that a million times. Like, take me wherever you want to go. Whatever you guys are thinking right now, throw me in the car, and I will just be along for the ride. Because that is the great thing about toy photography, is you can find stuff anywhere. Justin, who we've had on here before, he's a friend of Steph and mine. Like, he shoots most of his stuff at work. Like, he just has, like, he's found this like little room, and he just like will just, when he has some free time, he'll just take a few photos, and that's it. He's not going out and designing sets or anything. He's got very limited time to take his photos, and he just goes into like a little space, it's kind of industrial looking, and that's become his area. And it's but that's the great thing about what we do is we can find scenes anywhere if you're willing to like look and like get down on your knees and like, you know, dig a little bit.
Yeah. It would be hilarious if you saw like the big, you know, a person should do that is show where the heck this was.
Yeah.
So ugly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Love this reflection too.
Ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's admiring himself. These seedless characters have such a playful face. Like they're kind of somewhere between like an axolotl and like a dog or something. They're like happy face. Like, and they're so charming.
All right, so this is a question for both of you because you can help me with this a lot more than I will be able to help me with this. So the designer toy concept, right? So are these characters from something, or is the idea that they're also creating the character and the toy? Like, or is it both? Do they sometimes come from like a show or a movie, and then sometimes they're just out of somebody's head? Like, how does this all work? Like, what is this guy?
Well, I think the artist, like she's a painter as well.
Okay.
But she has created a character.
Top to bottom. Okay.
But I don't think there's any sort of cartoon attached to it. So many artists that they create like a character, which is so neat.
That is really cool. Cool.
And they do kind of look cartoony in a way. Like they could be like taken from a cartoon, but they're not. They're just very cute. I choose fairly cute things. I mean, like there's lots of ones that are not quite so like
adorable,
kawaii, I guess.
Yeah.
You know? So this is just my deal.
Yeah. It's more like, because as an artist, it's kind of like how we have an image or a style, the way we take photos. They have an image or style, the way they created this character or this persona or brand. And then I know there's a couple of them that have created like a figure or character, like a bunny or whatever else. And they like have other artists and designers create variations on that same character. So you can get like tons of different stuff from them. Like this little Sank guys that I have, he's got like, they have artists and stuff, and they have so many different like types. Do you have one too?
I have one here if you want to know what a Sank is.
Yes. They're so cool.
God, guys, I'm so obsessed with these little Sanks. Like this is ridiculous.
Yeah. You're going to start spending some money.
Guys are gonna gonna ruin my life. This is ridiculous. Those are so cute. Oh my God. And I love the fact that they make just non-posable and articulated ones. I think that's such a cool idea that you can, because you have a broader reach then as a creator and an artist. Like you're able to like be like, hey, for you guys who do some posing, I got these over here. For those of you who do the more like structurally, like this is what they do. You can have fun also. It's like they're grabbing both communities. It's like such a clever business model. I love it.
It's trouble when you get your hands in too many pots here, because like you get the designer toys and then the ones that are kind of more bargain hunters. They still take photos of their, you know, Walmart toys, Toys R Us toys, and I mean there's action figures, and then like I like thrifted like 80s toys, 90s toys too. So like, oh my gosh, where do you stop?
Yeah. What is the limit?
What is the limit? That's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
This is so fun. I love this because it's totally different than what you typically do. I love when artists, and that's the whole point of what Steph and I have been doing. I love when artists do something outside of their norm. And I think it's so important for us to do that and to test those waters and stuff like that, because it's like it gives you an opportunity to just have a little fun and go outside of your standard. And you know, I very often forget to do it, and this style of has been a reminder to do it. But you have a very healthy way of just choosing to do it. You're not being forced by a hashtag. You're actually just going for it. So good for you. Like that is,
Thanks.
This is awesome. I like it so much. I mean, I'm a Star Wars person, so I'm going to be a sucker for this anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's so fun. I love this. I love it.
we're totally Star Wars people in our house. So it's, we do have the Star Wars stuff around, you know, so it's kind of impossible not to dip into it here and there. But this was funny actually, because it was just my husband that was using a tote box with a white top as a counter to put his wine glass on.
Of course. Absolutely.
And he's just like, hey, look, I put this stormtrooper on it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wait there.
That's
like
great.
The white was bouncing up and it was creating this light on the figure, and then our gray wall. And it was just, it was lit all by itself. And I was like, stop, wait, just let me. And then I posed it and I just took the picture, but this is just my husband's wine glass. I think I stole it to like wipe smudges off of it. I'm like, wait, no, you can't.
Don't touch it. It's perfect.
Don't. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's that, again, that brings us back to the, like, forget about just the image for a second. That brings us back to the fun of what we do. It's the point of this. Like, you saw an opportunity, you took it, and you just had some fun with it. It was a silly moment in time.
I would never have thought of this. Yeah,
no,
like
exactly.
It was so silly and random.
Exactly. This is the
too.
point. This is the point of toys. Like, this is what we're doing here. We're trying to. We all do this for different reasons, but when it all comes down to having fun, and you know, as much as we've all found our way to this space through different roads, they all lead to the same thing we're going for, and that's just, you know, enjoyment and laughing and having a fun time, and you know, putting a smile on somebody else's face, putting a smile on your own face, and that's this represents that so well. It's, you saw it, you went for it, you were like, let's just do this, this is great, and then
you
look
have to
at what
be
you came.
opportunistic.
Yes. Yep. React.
Yeah. And you have to not get too embarrassed.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to give that up real fast. Like real fast. That was, even for me, like shooting in public was a really strange thing the first few times I did it. Like and I mean, I had some experience with like large format photography and stuff that kind of gets people's attention when you're shooting with a camera that's like this big, you know, people are going to look at you and they're going to take selfies of you. It's true. It happens. So like you get used to that, but being seen taking photos of toys, like first time it happened where somebody kind of realized what I was doing, it was like a weird moment. Like I was like, ugh. But it was this like little kid walking by with his parents and like looks in my box and just goes, Mom, there's toys in there. And she was like, leave him alone, he's taking pictures. And like, it was just, it's funny. It's it's, you just got to try stuff and not care and not overthink, and just, you know, most people are going to find it really entertaining what you do. It doesn't matter like what walk of life they're from. So
it's so true. I'm surprised I haven't dropped toys in, like, you know, like irretrievably in the water. Yet. Not yet.
That's, yeah.
Hopefully never.
We had this discussion, Steph and I, on one of our, it was either a live stream or a podcast, I don't remember, but I mean, with all the tiny little weapons that my Black Series figures come with, I have never lost one. I've never lost one. And I'm like, I know I'm jinxing myself, but like, it's crazy. I don't know how I haven't at least just lost like one little tiny pistol or something like that. I have every single little piece that comes with every single figure I own. It doesn't even make sense. Like I should have lost one by now, but I've not, still to this day, not lost anything in a river or down a mountainside or I don't know. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting. I came really close on my recent one. I was really brave with Boba Fett, and I put him somewhere, and I was like, this is dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Like, and I just did it. I was like, whatever.
No risk, no reward.
Exactly. And I was looking at it, thinking to myself, like, there's a 80% chance he's gonna fall, and just I'm gonna lose him. But he didn't. Again, luck. I don't know. But
I know I just went back to this creek spot that I've been taking photos at, and I found a piece of one of my Nendroids like in the water, like hanging out, like it's got stuck between two rocks. So I was like super excited, but at the same time, I'm like, I didn't even notice it was missing, let alone that it was going to be there when I got back.
Well, that's the best case scenario because then you weren't worrying.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it just like
there was no stress.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm glad I found it.
Oh gosh.
This is
I think
adorable.
It's the older one.
More seedless. That's so funny. This was just like my daughter was setting up her calico critters. Like that's purely all this is. And then
Reactive.
I just stuck the seedless guys in there. So they needed a tea party.
So good.
Those come in the tiny sizes too, like that.
I'm gonna have to look at these when I get done with here because my son's obsessed with axolotls, and so I think he'll love them because he's really into the blind boxes. And we open them, like my kids and I together, and they've started putting them in their rooms for their little displays. So I'm sure your daughter's like obsessed with you getting all these little cute things too. So it's fun.
Oh yeah, there's a steady stream of toys going through the house because I thrift toys and I sell some of the toys I thrift. Like I sell them to pay for my toy habit. My toy habit pays for my toy habit. So there's a constant stream of new toys coming through the house, and she's pretty good where she can let go of things because she just knows there's going to be more.
Yeah.
It's like
that's good. That's toy equilibrium. You've found like that that solid state where it just lives. Like it's perfect. But I gotta look up these little guys too. I just like typed a note to myself because I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated by them.
I think the next one, no, this one after this one, but this one is outside. Gorgeous.
This is, again, it's different, but it's very clearly you. Like, this is different than some of your other stuff, but it's like, it is obviously your style. I do also love, I'm going to point this out. As somebody who does not shoot square, I love that you shoot square. I do. It was, your work makes me want to shoot square more often. And I purposely did all of your photos in a square format. But I am always reminded when I shoot square how uncomfortable I actually am thinking in square.
It's hard.
It's not, my brain doesn't think in like a perfect 1-to-1 ratio. And your placement of characters and backgrounds and your ability to not make a square look busy, it's awesome. It's awesome. And this photo, like I said, even though it kind of breaks away from some of your other styles, it's got you in it, and it's such a like a dark softness that's happening here that I just adore. So
this would be more me more often if I lived here. But this was on a trip to Vancouver, like in the mountains, moss everywhere. I love moss. I've tried to grow moss. I've tried, like, we live on the prairies. It's flat. It's hard. Like this sort of texture and like foresty scenes, I don't have like great access to. But I would love to have more access to. I would be in there all the time, taking photos.
It serves you well, I'll tell you that. It's this makes me want to go out to like the Pacific Northwest really bad, but Steph knows I've been talking about this for a while. That is just absolute fire. Like I love her dark hair against the lightest green part of the whole photo. So like the lightest green is making the darkest black stand out. Like you utilized the brightest color and the darkest color to make it really get accented. And I think that's really, really freaking cool too. Awesome shot.
I like it because you're not afraid of making things really pop bright rainbow or even hold back and mute your contrast. I notice a lot of times on Instagram everything seems to be like everybody wants the brighter tones. They're trying to like get seen, but you really like worked on this is how you wanted to see it and how you want to do it. And Scott does a really good job of this too, where he lets his darks lie and not really change them too much in post. and that's the image that you saw on the camera, and that's the image that you wanted to capture. So this forest is probably overcast with the trees at the top, and so the light that you're capturing is literally the natural light. This is how your eyes saw this image and how you took it in camera. It's like coming from somebody who shoots outdoors quite a bit in a mossier area. I always try to make sure that the way the light kind of falls is the way I want to leave it, and kind of just preserve that natural feeling.
Yeah.
And you do a really good job of that when you go outdoors. And that's why when I see them every now and again, I'm always like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because that was like, we went to the mountains to look at the mountains, and it was smoky. Like there was all the forest fires in, I think California at the time that were going north, and like we couldn't see the mountains. Like it was smoky. Like it was really, really overcast with smoke. So yeah, it's exactly what was going on there. But
smoke haze is such an interesting thing. I've seen it a few times. I've been places where it's a very interesting look. It's because it's not like a normal haze. Like you can tell when there's that weird smokiness from like forest fire stuff. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's very different. It's kind of different in color. It casts a different light through it. So it's very strange. But like for me myself, I tend to want to take darker photos through Instagram, and just noticing what people like has forced me to do more like lighter, brighter scenes. But for me myself, I like a moody shot.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like just for me, you know, kind of more so.
That's good that you need to do that. You have to take the photos for you too. I'm the opposite problem. I'm not as good at taking the photos for other people. I'm too like, I'm gonna do it my way, and which is just terrible. But no, that's the thing. You're right. Like those photos that pop are the ones that, you know, it stops you when you're scrolling. People stop and they're like, whoa, look at that. The dark photos sometimes get kind of, you know, they're stealthy. They sneak through if people aren't looking for them. But like, you know, you're taking them for you, and that's great. And again, you nailed it. It's absolutely stunning. So
this is so much fun, you guys.
this honestly, I'm gonna make a bold statement. I usually try to make at least one bold statement. This might be my favorite photo of yours. It might be. Like, because this is one that I stopped at multiple times when I was scrolling through your feed, and I feel like this is top. I didn't think to shoot like this because it's a little more like similar to the way I think, and I was trying to go the opposite direction, but
you weren't going to make it easy on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I got to make it stressful. But this might be like one of my favorite photos on your entire feed. I think it is. It's special. It's really special.
I know when I scroll through, I look for stuff that's similar to what I like, which is what I shoot, which is the moodier stuff. So I did stop on this one a couple of times, and I was like, I'm going to add this in here just because I want to talk about the whole walking through the forest and how the feeling was. Because I love when you could walk through some place like this. It's like a magical, enchanted forest that you get to place figures out and have some fun.
There's a million spots you could choose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your family will only wait for you for so long. And then the bears will eat you.
Oh yeah,
it's so true.
It's funny because you say that, but I go out by myself when I go shoot out in the forest, and I'm like, I have to have like all my prep for animals because we have cougars and everything else out there. So it's just like,
no, I had spray on me. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm unlucky enough that the bear will find me.
Absolutely.
You know, if anybody, it's gonna be me.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I stepped on a snake the other day, and I was like, about went home. So it's just like, this is not going to be
I'm done.
today.
It's not worth it.
No.
That's good.
This is what I wanted to talk about. Was your challenge?
My God.
This is so cool. So cool.
Oh, so funny. You know, actually, the picture on the right with the necklace is one that my sister took of me, because I got her. I was like, I have this project. Can you please help me? Because like I can't take it. Yeah. I have to be in it. So, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Oh, but it is stunning. I love
I would rather
these.
have that than any glamour shot ever.
Oh,
I
heck
get
yeah.
to be Ursula, no problem. That's awesome.
I'd rather be Ursula. I'm all into that. This is phenomenal. Like these are amazing. I love this. Such a cool idea. Such a cool
Pop Mart
idea.
was doing a challenge where you dress up like a character. It's so funny. I worked so hard on the one on the right with the necklace and everything. I bought the wig. I squeezed myself back into my graduation dress, and and took this photo. And I didn't win with that one, but then I used the same wig for the next photo, painted in apple red, and then used an Obi-Wan Kenobi robe that we already had.
Oh my god.
And I think I got a small prize out of that one.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. I tried so hard. This is another example of I try so hard,
Mm-hmm.
and and then the easier one wins.
One of I totally no, that is truly what you just said is spot on, and that's why we have to remind ourselves once in a while to do it for yourself first, because I have had some of my favorite photos that I have ever taken, like that I thought about. I was like, oh yeah, this is a great idea, and I was so like unbelievably proud of it. Like I'm like showing it off to my wife. I'm showing it off to like my sister. I'm like, look at this photo. I posted it. No one cared. It's like the least liked photos on my entire feed. No one cared about it. No comments. And I'm like, I spent like 12 hours of my life on this and no one cares. Meanwhile, this photo that like I went out in my backyard and took in 10 minutes is getting, more. Yeah, I know that feeling. So I
took that one on my couch. And then the other one was at a studio with lights and everything. Oh my God.
I know. It's frustrating. It's a frustrating thing. It's real frustrating.
I think they're both magical, but it's just like, I've never seen like, I didn't know this challenge existed, so maybe I probably should look at the hashtag, but it was very cool to see. And it's interesting because a lot of people, we had a conversation yesterday with someone that they don't show their face very often on the feed. A lot of people like just to worry about the product, but you're very open about yourself and your collecting and your videos and kind of like your hauls from your thrift store experiences.
Yeah.
And I find
you're not just a mystery.
Yeah.
It took me so long to show my face. Because I was so worried about people in my hometown knowing that I did this.
I know.
So, so far, not too many. I don't think anyone has really found me yet from my hometown. Usually it's by accident of myself or something, accidentally letting it slip. But it's funny. Like the first time I thrifted a whole bunch of My Little Ponies, I was like, you know what? My hair is nice. I'll just take a video in the car. We'll see how this goes. And then like I can't believe you this is what you look like after so long. And it's like, I don't know why. Just
I know. I'll tell you though, and I've said this to other people on the podcast, you will be shocked when people find out. I work in such the only way to describe it is as like blue collar American job you can possibly imagine, and everybody asks me about like the photos I took over the weekend. Like they love it. They love what I do. And I've shown Steph, like I've got like a couple of the guys I work with work on like the machinery at our facility and stuff, and they will save pieces for me, like broken pieces of like machinery, and say, Scott, you might need this. I got this for like you might need this broken piston. Like, these just dudes, like real dudes, and they're just like so excited to like bring me things that they find, and they're just like, oh my gosh, this could be like a plasma tube or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are hilarious. And it's funny. Like I never expected that, because I was the same way. I just didn't talk. I was like, I'll just keep like not worth talking about. But as people started to find out, I just started laughing hysterically that there was no like, they were like, wait, you do what? Oh my gosh, these are so cool. Like it was hilarious. And it has continued that way. I haven't, and I'm sure, like, don't get me wrong, I'm sure somebody's like said something behind my back, but like to my face, like no one has made me even come close to feeling silly about it. If anything, they've made me want to do it more. So it's kind of interesting.
Isn't that nice?
It's kind of interesting. So.
Oh, it's so funny. A friend of mine that like she found me out on Instagram one time and then you laugh because I had it was more of a secret, and that's why it was funny. It wasn't what I was doing.
Of course.
Funny. It was just because
the secret's the funny part.
You have this alter ego.
Yeah.
And now she has an account for Calico Critters, and it has gone crazy. She's doing so well with it. Oh yeah, I hope I had a part of that.
Yeah.
A part in that. So
very cool.
So funny.
This is I love the sand swirls.
This one. I love this one.
This is you. This is very much your account. I think this photo. Yeah. Steph, is this the last photo?
Mm-hmm.
I had a funny feeling you picked this as the last photo. This is. I don't really see the slideshow until Steph shows it to me here, so that's what makes it really entertaining. But yeah, this is your feed. If I had to pick, like, if I'm looking at like a photo and I'm thinking like, what is your feed as a whole? This is it. No distractions. It's as clean and it's perfect and it's centered and squared off, and it's just this is it. This is your Instagram account right here in an image. So
I would pick it too.
Yeah.
Like, I liked this one.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did. Yeah, this is simple. It is simple, but at the same time it was a major pain in the rear. At the same time, because I was trying to get it, I used some wire to get it to like stand up, but I was very conscious of trying to get it to stay put, because it's a fairly heavy thing, and the visor on it glares really badly. So trying to get it to stay on the wire stand, plus not have the glare from the natural light. Oh my gosh, that was maddening, but it was magic in the end.
Like we said, the stress of minimalism. It's not as easy as people think it is. Like this looks simple to somebody who doesn't take photos and doesn't do art, but I mean, this is not easy to make this work.
No,
there are too many variables that make it difficult, and like you said, anything from glare to the simplicity of it, because you can't errors in framing and angles and stuff can be disguised when you have a lot of other things going on in the photo, but when you do something like this, like we talked about, toy ground, that's it. Everything, if there's something that's a little off, like that means 50% of your photo is off. Like it's frustrating. And so it's a good one. I really love it.
And you lined the little tentacles up with the swirlies. So I don't know if you did that on purpose or you like went
on purpose.
Oh, so cute.
And I was just doing it with my finger, just like trying to like make it look like he was doing it on the ocean floor, sort of thing. And then the ground obviously is not uneven. It's just the angle of the shot, but like it makes it look like it's like the ground is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It angles it enough where you can see the swirls, and it's not flat where it's boring. So yeah, took so many photos to get this. Just one, one, but it was good. I like these figures a lot.
They're super cute. This is the ones I had to like not get because I had so many other ones on pre-order, and I was like, when I got my box,
painful.
I was wanting to, because when I saw this photo, I was like, oh my gosh, I need jellyfish in my life, but this is okay.
Yeah.
So cute.
Jellyfish are my fave. So
jellyfish are so amazing.
These are just taking my money.
The next ones are like our challenge photos, so we go straight into your
fun
ring.
So lovely. I loved it. You sent me the behind the scenes photos before. Oh my god, this is I just again, you thought about some of the same exact elements obviously in your own style and made it springy. Obviously it's your style, but people got to realize too, when you're shooting, obviously trying to make sure that it's speaking from you, like you're trying to speak for yourself. I feel like you got a lot of those great key key elements that is you. And I love this little frog. It's so
little tadpole.
And the tadpole. So oh my gosh.
Yeah, the April frogs are fantastic. They don't take a bad photo, I swear. Like they're so funny. Like comical,
cute.
and the way they grab their belly is just like they look so satisfied all the time.
So
and like
cute.
I don't know. It's so funny. Does anyone else like go to the pet store and like buy buy like the decor stuff?
Yeah.
Because that's what that is right there. And I love that stuff so much.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff there. The other thing too is just even in general, like Michael's, some of their faux flower area has some really fun little like buds and things like that you can utilize. But yeah, this is
flowers.
I love the logs and stuff that you can put at like the bottom of a fish tank and like an aquarium. It's so perfect, and it's always like sized really well too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then it's not full of bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I brought spiders in the house from step outside, and like, oh my gosh.
Oh yes. Yep. They come in.
Yeah. My boyfriend several times is like, "Did you leave any forest in the forest?" Because you just brought
it's all with you.
Like, I'll just bring all the sticks home.
Yeah.
No, doesn't work so well.
My poor husband. Like, I've tried to grow moss in the house before, and I mean, like, there's toy props everywhere in this house, and we have such a small house. Like, he's such a good guy to let me have this many things.
We were talking with Jason last night about this. Like, my wife, like, the basement, the only reason she has to come down here is if she needs to bring laundry down or something like that. And I swear, like, I don't even want her to have to do that. I'm just like, I'll go get it. Like, just stop. She's like, go.
Don't look.
She's heading to the stairs and she's like about to go open the door. I'm like, just close it. I'm going to go grab it. I'm going to go do it. Just don't touch it. Don't go down there. You're going to have a heart attack. And then I'm going to have to like bring you to the hospital. Like, I don't want to have to deal with this right now. I don't know how she puts up. Like, I don't know. I mean, the good thing is we now live in a house and we can get away with that. Like, I've kind of, like I said, taken over the basement, so my stuff doesn't exist up there at all.
Yeah.
But like, oh man, yeah, so many toys, so many ridiculous toys.
My stuff exists everywhere. I've pulled it into the kids' rooms too. I'm like, I'll just put it on shelves in there, and then it'll be okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah, decoration.
It's
absolutely.
just kids' toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Spots is next, and I love these.
Yeah. So as we spoke, I do not have really any of the designer toys that we've talked about and whatnot.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. The Heather has one, courtesy of Steph. But I do not have any. And so the closest thing I had to something that was, non-posable, just solid state toy are my little Hasbro Grogu's. And so
I'm so glad you used these.
I had to go with the little Grogu because I was like, I'm obsessed with that photo of the frog sitting in the flower. And it's just, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play around with that and try to do something with. So I just, my wife is a floral designer. This was a flower that was just was destined to not be put into anything. So I took it, ripped it off, stuck it in another one of her plants, and then just started taking photos. But yeah, it's funny because I don't use flowers as much as I should, considering that they surround me a lot. And they are literally my wife's primary form of income, but yet I don't take pictures of them. I don't know. It's weird. It's dumb.
You gotta take advantage of all the things.
I know.
You, right?
It's so weird. I gotta utilize it more. Like, I keep joking. I'm like, you're gonna make me a mini bouquet someday for like one of like my Black Series figures, like a really tiny one. She's like, I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. I'm like, I'm gonna challenge you. But yeah, flowers everywhere, so it's a good thing. But yeah, that's what I did. I stole a stem
and you did a square.
And I did a square. Yeah, don't do it very often. This was the first square I think since I posted that one like behind the scenes one from a few ago.
I think Sabrina. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Sabrina. No, I don't even think I didn't do square for Sabrina either. I didn't feel like it was even like as necessary. I think Justin might have been the last set of squares that I did, possibly. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Made me think a little bit.
No,
Mine's
it's
not
so
in a
cute.
square,
It swirls and it like pulls you in and it makes you want to take a nap.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely made me want to take a nap.
Make you
Yes.
feel
I feel
cozy.
that.
Mine is not a square, so prepare yourself. So it's gonna be one of those
Oh,
I love
gosh,
this.
it's so good.
I love this. Steph,
What
I
are these
also
ones called? I don't have any of these.
things. They're a little like Zoopy, I think is the name of the brand. But they have like little ghosts. I have one that's like has like a little cat on its little hat. It's like a little witch. And this one is from The Last Prince or The Lost Prince. I can't remember the exact show. They're just so cute.
And the flowers mimic that movement in the little dress thing going on.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, it's so you
You are
picked
not.
the perfect flower. No, it's so good. You're so right. Like
Yeah.
that is so solid, spot on. Like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like that is awesome. You couldn't have picked better flowers for this. It's
Actually,
so
my
good.
daughter did that. So she was like,
Aw.
"Do you want these?" I'm like, "Yes, let me see those. That'll give me some spring in this." So
My daughter does that too. Like, you could use this for toy photos.
yeah,
Cute.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
super cute.
Oh.
And then
The lighting's great and soft. Oh, see, there's more swirly sand. Like I do.
I love this photo of you like hanging out with them. There's something really like seeing artists in their space doing their thing is really important. And I feel like creative people have a tendency not to let these photos happen. And I think every creative person should have a few decent photos of them doing the thing that they love. And
Agreed.
and this is so like I don't know, it's so good. If people can have like LinkedIn profile photos, like I think we should all have these. Like I think this is super important. So just lovely. Absolutely lovely. Was that treasure? Is that a treasure chest? Was that from
It is a treasure
Is that from a pet
chest,
shop?
yeah.
Is that
This
like a
one is actually just it's from the dollar store. Like it's
Oh,
just
that's even
like
better.
yeah, it's cheaper.
Even
Way
better.
cheaper. It looks like it's spilling out a whole bunch of stuff, which is
Yeah.
fun. It is so funny though, because like this is not what I look like when I take pictures.
No, of course not. Of course not.
You know? But
Yeah.
it's what I hope people think of when they think of me taking photos. Not like all sweaty with my like mom bun.
Yeah.
Like, just like, you know, like
With like glitter on
pouring
your
water.
face because you got like
Yes.
put your face in it. Yeah, I know.
uh-huh.
No, this is a really I don't know. There's something really fun here. This is the kind of photo that, you know, I think it's going to be fun for kids to look at someday. Like, your family sees this kind of it's I don't know. It's important. Like I have photos of my dad and that I've taken of him photographing. So like when we've taken photo trips, I have like a whole series of him behind a camera, usually from behind like his back, and then I'll take a photo of him standing with the camera on the tripod looking out at what the scene is that he's taking, and then I have him and then the scene that he's taking a photo of. And I have a whole bunch of those, and there's just I think it's fun to have photos of that. It shows the process, not just the end result.
Oh, all the work too. You just open up all the behind the scenes and how much work it was to find a location and then get down on the ground and like squat and try and find the right angle.
Oh my gosh.
So,
well, Kelsi, you are phenomenal. You are such a talented photographer, creative person. You create such a really like well put together account. Just it's so much fun to scroll through it. Do you have other areas that you like? Do you have a Facebook for this? Do you have a website? Do you do any other design things? Like what do you have like that would be that people could see your creative processes?
Oh, I don't have a Facebook page for my toy photography. I do paint a bit. So Kelsi's compositions on Instagram, but it's kind of been like pushed aside a little bit at the moment. But I paint jellyfish, and I've been painting for years. But this whole photography thing is a newer venture for sure, but Instagram is my main thing. I'm not very tech savvy, so even just keeping up to date with Instagram and new things, like, it's hard for me.
Yeah, it is.
So just doing this photography has kept me kind of in the know with Instagram, but I'm not even beginning to start thinking about TikTok or anything like that. Like, I can't learn a new thing.
Yeah.
Please
Steph
don't
is the only
me.
reason I keep organized at all. Like, I don't even know half the time like who's coming up. Like, she has to send, like, she's told me like how to put my like Google Calendar and stuff together, and like she just sends me things, and I just know that, oh, it pops up and tells me like, oh, this is happening next, be ready. Like, no, she is like a like, well, this way, a tech lady. I have no idea. Like, I don't understand TikTok. I don't understand Snapchat. I don't like. I'm learning as much as I can, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, the Instagram thing is kind of where you exist and where you thrive.
Yeah, it's my little corner.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The painting thing is interesting, though. That's really cool. For like, I might check that out after this too, because it's always nice to see something. And I like underwater stuff too, so I'm just gonna I might go there if you have a lot of jellyfish stuff on there. It may be kind of cool to look at and see. But yeah, it's just I noticed a lot of like underwater themes on your pages and stuff, and so it's cool because a lot of people do greenery or like a lot of the coffee shops and stuff like that. So some cool ocean.
I do a lot of jellyfish, and I feel like they don't sell that great because like, who wants a jellyfish? But like, that's just
more
for me.
people
like,
need jellyfish.
Yeah,
it's just I paint them for me, and then whoever gets it gets it.
Yeah,
you know.
Where do you think, this is completely random, I'm gonna put you on the spot, where do you think your love of the ocean comes from?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think it probably starts off like with just like even like Pokemon, right? Like you pick your favorite, like, are you kind of a land like the fire ones or the leaf ones, and like and I always was drawn to the ocean ones. Like, they were like by far always my favorite. So I think I could just recognize that I was being pulled more that way. I don't like fuzzy animals quite so much. I'm not so drawn to that. I like critters, like lizards, frogs, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just ends up being more ocean themed stuff that I get drawn to.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Cool. It's always interesting what draws us to the figures that we like to shoot more. We've always had like conversations of like why I picked Nendroids or why Scott does the Black Series, and I think there's a lot of elements of us not really growing up because we're adults, but like, you know what I mean, like going through and doing things. But it's just like, it's so interesting what figures we choose to buy and choose to showcase or just choose to keep for ourselves and kind of put up on a shelf. It's very cool. But
it's like surrounding yourself with your own personality. Like, you're just immersing yourself in things that draw you, and it's really neat. Like, photography is so amazing like that. You can just create your own little world the way you want to see it, and it just ends up being a reflection of yourself, which is so cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to say thank you so much, Kelsi, one more time. And we're going to wave and then...
Anytime. This was so much fun, you guys.
Good.
Thank you.
Hit the magical button. Hold on.
Well, y'all, thank you for listening to another wonderful episode of the combined SBN F-Stop Rebel podcast. Truly a pleasure. I hope you enjoyed everything. Remember, please do not grow up. It's a waste of time. I am Scott, F-Stop Rebel, and there's obviously Steph.
Yep, I'm still here, and you can find me at Slag My Thrilla or the SBN you'll see all the credits on the end. But I always want to say, just guys, stay awesome and keep it up.